Today, I'm going to show you an 8-step process how to write a New Year's resolution or goal-setting essay. Now, if your essay is on another topic or a bit different, that is totally fine. You just need to adapt it, but it'll still work. New year, new me. New year, but same you. Wait, really? I just know that goal-setting or New Year's resolution essays are a popular choice with teachers this time of year. Let's get started. Step 1 is to understand your question. This step is commonly skipped and it causes big problems. Because here's the thing, the whole point of your essay is to answer your question. If you can't understand your question, then how can you answer it? That actually is a good point. Let's look at our essay question, which I have right here. What are your goals in 2022? Or you can replace goals with New Year's resolutions. But basically you want to ask yourself, what is this question asking? If your question is different, then complete the same thing with your question. Our question actually wants us to make goals for 2022 and list and describe them. That's all I need to do. A common mistake I see is that students answer the wrong question. They answer the question they think they have or want to have, but not the question actually given to them. And for this question, I'm probably going to focus on making 3 goals. Step 2, write your thesis. Your thesis is the 1-sentence answer to your essay question. And remember, the whole point of your essay is to answer your essay question, which you'll do with a focused and clear thesis statement. For my thesis statement for this question, I'm going to briefly list my 3 goals in a clear, focused sentence. And I like to diversify them, so I'm going to do this. I'll choose one academic goal, which is a school-related goal. I'll choose one health goal, so it could be mental, emotional, or physical health. And lastly, I just like to choose a personal goal, which could be anything. When creating goals or resolutions, you want to avoid these common mistakes by creating SMART goals. Too often, students make vague or unclear goals. I want to work out more. I want to eat less junk food. I want to get better grades. Like, what do these words mean? What does better mean? What does more mean? What does less mean? You got to be specific. You got to ask yourself, what kind of workout? So I'm going to focus on push-ups for this example. You want your goal to be measurable. For example, if I say I'm going to eat less junk food, well, how much is less? Do you want to go from like 5 sodas a day to 3? Or does less mean you want to go from 1 to drinking none at all and maybe you drink something like LaCroix? For this example, I'm going to do 10 push-ups. So if I do 9 push-ups, I didn't meet my goal. My number is 10 push-ups. It's specific and measurable. Another common mistake is that students make impossible or unreachable goals. I want to do 1,000 push-ups a day. Well, how many push-ups do you do right now? I don't know, but I can do 2 of these. Look, I'm not trying to crush your dreams or your spirit, but you want to start realistic. So start small. Choose something challenging but possible. You have to be realistic with your goals. And you notice we skipped the A? We'll come back to that. The third common mistake I see is there's no deadline. You want your goal to be time sensitive, which is the T. When will you reach your goal? So I'll do 10 push-ups every single night before I go to bed. So now let's get on with step 2. Let's actually write our thesis statement. So here we go. My goals for 2022 are to complete 10 push-ups every single night, get an A in math, and read 1 book a month. It's a clear and focused sentence to answer my essay question. Just 1 book a month? I'm going to read 30. Again, I think you got to be realistic. This sentence answers my essay question. Step 3, outline your essay. So I like to create a tree map, which is a thinking map. It helps your essay be organized and focused and just kind of creates an overall structure. So if you have a different essay question, you can create, let's say I have 3 goals here, so I'm going to have 3 branches. But if you had 4 goals, you can create 4 branches. Or if you have kind of a different number of main topics, you create a branch for each main topic. So again, 3 branches for each goal. Step 4, write your topic sentence. Wait, what about the introduction? It's a massive common mistake to start with your introduction. You'll see why in step 6. And so part of my outline, which I forgot to do with the last step, is I'm going to take this and put each main idea. So the push-ups are here. I have the A in math. And then I'm going to have the reading here. I kind of break it down so I have each section right there. And the topic sentence is the first sentence of your paragraph, and it introduces the main point of that paragraph. Here's my first topic sentence. It's clear and it introduces the main topic of this paragraph. I'm not going to talk about my A in math or my reading. I'm just going to focus on the push-ups, and it's clearly stated in my topic sentence. Take a look at my other topic sentences here. Notice they're 1 sentence and it introduces the main topic, which is the goal of that paragraph. I need you to understand what I'm about to tell you because this is how you write a great essay. If I explain each of my goals in each of my paragraphs, right? My push-ups here, the A in math here, and the reading here. Then I support and answer, or really kind of prove my thesis statement. And if I support and prove my thesis statement, I answer my essay question, which again, that's the whole point of your essay. So really, to answer your question, you gotta focus on explaining your ideas in your paragraphs, which brings us to step 5, write your body paragraph. The last letter A in SMART is gonna be action plan, which really the point of your paragraph is to explain the plan of how you're gonna reach that goal. Here's the structure of how I want you to write each paragraph. So you're gonna start off with your topic sentence, which again, I already explained that, right? You have your topic sentence first, and that's just one sentence. Next, in 3 to 4 sentences, and again, there's no perfect amount, right? 3 to 4 sentences, I want you to explain the plan, right? Give us a plan of how you're actually going to reach the goal. So you can say, first I'll do this, next I'll do that, then this, and then finally this. I like to write it like this: first, second, third, fourth. Yes, it's the same thing, right? The goal is just to explain the plan of how you're actually going to reach that goal. And then third, I want you to explain the obstacle, right? Like what's going to stop you from reaching that goal? How are you writing backwards? In order to be realistic, you have to explain the obstacle, right? That's part of the plan, and not just the obstacle, but how you're actually going to overcome that obstacle. And really that you're starting to write a lot of ideas. So what you could do is you could even break, this push-ups paragraph into 2 paragraphs, right? The first part of the paragraph, right? You break it down, 2. So the first part here is the plan, and the second part is the obstacle and how you're going to overcome it. Step 6, write your introduction and conclusion. You want to write your introduction and conclusion at the same time because they're connected. A lot of students get hung up on, what's my hook? How to write my introduction? And don't worry about it. It's not important. Well, okay, it is important. It's just not as important as other things, right? For example, your thesis is way more important and is the most important part of your essay because that answers your essay question. And second is your paragraphs, right? Because in order to prove your thesis, you got to focus on your body paragraph. So again, your introduction is important, your conclusion is important, but worry about that at the very end. Wow, that makes sense. Here's a basic structure and some ideas of how to write your introduction and conclusion. The first sentence of your introduction is your hook. That's where you grab the reader's attention and you introduce a topic at hand. And so one idea you can do is give us a quote that inspires you to reach your goals and explain how it's inspiring to you. Another idea for your hook is give us a story as to why these goals are important to you. The third idea, you can talk about the struggles you had in 2021. So for example, I might talk about my struggles in math or struggles with fitness or struggles with reading in 2021, which is why I'm making these goals for 2022. I would avoid using a question for your hook. It's not wrong to do so, but it's just way overused. So use one of these 3 ideas. Next is my background information. Like I said, I chose a health goal, I chose an academic goal, and a personal goal. So I'm actually going to explain that to my reader because they have no ideas why I chose these goals. So I'm going to explain, here's what a fitness goal is, or here's what an academic goal is, here's what a personal goal is. I'm going to explain the kind of goal structure for my essay so my reader knows what to expect. And if I didn't do this in my hook, I'm going to explain the struggles or really the issue I had that led to creating these goals. If you think about it, a goal is a solution to a problem. So what is a problem that led to me creating these goals? So I want to explain that kind of background information so my reader knows kind of the context for these goals. And then end your introduction with your thesis statement. You start off your conclusion by restating your thesis. You're not going to change your thesis, but just write it in a fresh way. Usually in a conclusion, you then follow up by summarizing the main ideas of your paragraphs. But for this essay, what I would do is I would kind of explain, why is this goal important? Then why is this goal important? And then why is this goal important? That can really kind of pull the reader in and bring it full circle. And lastly, you're going to end your essay by the way you started it. You're going to connect it back to your hook. So whatever your hook was, that's going to be in your conclusion. Step 7, revise and edit your essay. This is another massive mistake I see that students make. They waste their time by focusing on spelling or grammar or punctuation. It is important, but you don't want to focus on that first. Revise your essay by focusing on your ideas, the clarity, the organization, the word choice, and the flow, and do so by looking at these questions. I never need to revise my essays. They're perfect. And then after that, then focus on your spelling, then focus on your grammar. Because students waste their time because what if, for example, my thesis was just bad, right? It's just completely off base. It doesn't answer my question. I have to rewrite the whole thing. Who cares if I spelled all the words wrong, right? If the essay is a wrong idea, I want to revise that. I don't want to focus on my spelling and grammar. I'm just wasting my time. And I do want to say that revising your essay doesn't just happen at the very end. Revision is something that happens all throughout your essay writing. So as you write your thesis statement, revise it. Ask someone or ask yourself, does this thesis answer my question, right? As you write your topic sentences, revise it. As you write your paragraphs, revise it. It's a constant process all throughout writing. And then at the very end is when you revise your essay as a whole. As a whole essay, my introduction, conclusion, does it all flow together? Is it organized? And after you do all that, then edit your spelling, edit your grammar. Step 8, you want to format your essay. It may seem simple, tedious, unimportant, but it can be a massive game changer for your essay. And here's why. You put all this work, hours upon hours on your thesis, your paragraphs, and everything. You watch videos to make sure it's really good. And you want to make sure it doesn't just flow well and sound good, but it looks good. So if your essay is great, the ideas are amazing, but if the way it's presented just off, your grade will be lower. So you spend all this time, just take a couple minutes to make sure you edit your essay. So here's the MLA format and the APA format for your essay. And that's it, the entire 8-step process. You can use it for a goal-setting essay, for any essay you write this year. You can check out one of these 2 videos, smash the like button, hit subscribe. Adios.